Hello everyone, welcome to Get My Class. Today we are going to solve this question which says in dash type of pollination, pollinators are required but is genetically similar to autogamy. Okay, so options are Cleistogamy, geitonogamy, xenogamy, all of the above. Now, let us understand the question. It says in dash type of pollination, pollinators are required but is genetically similar to autogamy. So what is autogamy? Autogamy is nothing but self-pollination. Okay, self-pollination. Okay, so when we say self-pollination, the pollen grains of the flower, the pollen grains from the anther of a flower, will get pollinated on the stigma of the same flower. Okay, that is what is self-pollination. So it can happen on the same flower, or it can happen on the another flower of the same plant. That is again self-pollination. Okay, where you need pollinators. You need the pollinators to carry pollen grains from one flower of the plant onto the another flower of the same plant. That is what is called as geitonogamy. Okay, now this is autogamy. Under autogamy, you have again, there is another type of autogamy which is called as geitonogamy. Geitonogamy. Okay, but in this case, you need pollinators. You need pollinators because in this case, the flowers are present on the same plant, but they are different. Like, the anther from one flower is carried onto the stigma of another flower of the same plant. So here we need pollinators. Okay. Okay. So let us see. Now option A says Cleistogamy. Cleistogamy is nothing but the here autogamy occurs, that is self-pollination, but in closed flowers. Okay, in closed flowers. So since it is closed flowers, you don't need pollinators because the flowers are totally closed. So the anthers of the same flower will pollinate the stigma of the same flower. So that is a type of autogamy only. Okay, autogamy. Now, in case of geitonogamy, as I told you, the pollinators are involved in transferring the pollen grains. They transfer the pollen grains from the stigma, from the anther of one flower onto the stigma of another flower, onto the stigma of another flower, but another flower present on the same plant. Okay, that is very important. And of course, to transfer the pollen grains from one flower to the other flower, they need what? They need pollinators. Hence, geitonogamy is the right answer, because though the transfer of pollen grain is happening from one flower to another flower, since there will be genetically similar, like whatever the offsprings will be produced, that will be genetically similar to the parent plant, because both the flowers belong to the same plant, right? So that is why this is the correct answer. What is xenogamy? Xenogamy is cross-pollination, which occurs between two different plants. Okay, two different plants of the same species. Two different plants, but of the same species. Why? Because only same species, if it is there, only then the seeds will be viable or the embryos will be viable. Okay, so xenogamy is nothing but cross-pollination between two different plants. Hence it is, and because it is two different plants, they are not genetically similar. They are genetically, they are not identical. Hence option C is ruled out. Option B says all of the above, which is ruled out. So let us conclude. So what is the answer? The answer is geitonogamy. So that is the right answer. I hope you understood the explanation. Thank you, everyone.